Hello and welcome back to the channel, here for yet another league race, this time in the PSGL F9 tier at Bahrain. As we always do then, jumping straight into qualifying. Dry as it should be here in Bahrain. Yesterday I think was possibly the one time I will drive in wet conditions around here. We are in the dry then, in the Renault, as I've been all season. I've had very mixed sort of fortunes in here. I've been very unlucky and made mistakes of my own as well, causing issues. This is now the end of the first flying lap. Just trying to pretty much get as neat of a lap as I can, learning from last night as well as to what I did wrong.
That's the fastest lap so far.
I'm going to go purple very briefly. One of the only times I've ever had a purple with anything to my name in here. Just looking at the table, a couple of drivers yet to set a time. I'm currently lying in 5th. So that's the bottom of all the soft runners, bar that one time by Dalbeer further down. But I think I was a little bit thankful I was at least ahead of the medium guys. We're now coming across the line to start my second and last lap of the session. Take you through the whole lap. You can see here actually hitting the apex of turn 1. It's amazing that you can actually find time doing that. I'm pretty sure it's the same situation last night. So we are then up on the delta, going down to turn 4. Missed the apex there, so again a little bit disappointed with that. Again, same as my lap from EPR. Strong in a lot of parts, but still made those couple of mistakes costing me. It turned out it was actually one of the best corners there, despite losing time on the exit, so I must have nailed that last time around. Down to this very tricky corner then. Don't lock up, but do run a little bit deep, so I lose even more time heading down the straight. It's annoying that I always lose the most time on the exits that precede a massive straight. So then understeering through turn 11, struggled really much. I struggled a lot, if I could speak properly, to get the car turned in there, but I did go purple through the middle sector. This lap is actually on the mainstream as well, on the PSGL YouTube channel. Just, so I did watch it back afterwards, and obviously, as always, the commentator, he's harsh, he's honest. So just under 5 tenths improvement over the lap, which puts us into 7th, which translates to P10 in the end. I think my teammate beating me in qualifying for the first time this season. And obviously my boy Kieran up there on the front row. Pretty much how these tend to go is if I race with you in multiple leagues and I respect you, I support you more. As Kieran and I, we've had a couple of good battles. So changing the strategy once more. So I'm on faster tyres at the end of the race, much prefer doing it that way. Taking the fuel out of the car as well. Just a little bit of consideration there as to what we wanted to do with the fuel. So now get ready for the lights to come on. Here they go, all 5 are on. You see, just playing around with the throttle a little bit, just trying to find a good point. It's a fairly average start there, we block off Matty there from coming up the inside. So then get into turn 1, very cautious. You see a little bit of contact on the back of Nano. We've had our, well, I don't want to say issues. We've had our moments, Nano and I, this season. Being a little bit defensive on Vettel, who decides to just send it into the corner. Tags, I think at the back, it was the back of Jacob. That was it for their race. They came to the pits at the end of this lap and retired the car. See, Jacob does actually have frontman damage at this point. As you can see, he's getting absolutely swamped. We also decide to send up the inside into turn 8, but he is still on the outside, and he actually gets better traction coming out of there as well, which is a little bit annoying because I'm not prepared to go around the outside of turn 9 and 10 on a car that doesn't have a wing. So back out of that one, got Brandon right behind. He crashed in qualifying to start down at the back.
Okay, the start was fine. Let's try and move forward.
Obviously, starting last, he was up and now into P11, so very good start. P12 actually on P11. You can see we're just stuck behind Jacob. trying my best to do something. He has got a broken front wing. See, just a little check there. My wing is still good. Had a couple of little taps a couple of times on that lap. But it all seemed to work out nicely. Now Jacob does pull over into the pits. And we should not to cross that white line, because otherwise everyone gets annoyed at you. Replay of the start then, from the off-board perspective. So let's go out, you can see my yellow car there on the left, further back, right in the middle of the pack as well. You can see the Williams behind getting a slightly better run. I just tried to hold my line here, right in the middle of the pack. Everything closes up as it's practically a hairpin for the first corner here. Just about hold my own, despite Adrian getting past. And you can see Vettel lining up a move just behind. Jumping on a couple of laps now, onto the end of lap 3, right up behind Adrian. Coming out of the final corner, again I was stuck behind him a little bit, couldn't get past, had to wait for the DRS. Once we had that, quite a simple move to the inside, nice and early.
Nice move.
Better traction of course on the softer tyres, however we do go a little bit deep into the corner, didn't seem to affect either of us too much. Now head on to lap 5 on the back of Mystic. And one thing that really annoyed me about Mystic this race is nothing personal, he did nothing wrong. But every time I caught up to the back of him, it was within DRS, he then caught the car in front of him and had DRS, so I couldn't attack him.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
That was one thing that annoyed me. It happened a couple of times during the course of this race. As soon as I caught up to the back of him, he suddenly caught up to the car in front of him as well. So I couldn't do anything. I don't know if he was battery burning on the straights or if he just has a lower drag setup. You can see there's just nothing we can do this time. It's also my teammate in front. You'll see later that he is, I'd say not a team player, but you'll find out what happens. Stick to the end of the video to see what happens with that. See Missing Grumpy now going into the pit lane. You're going for one more lap.
This lap. Push hard on me.
And now we are one lap later into the pit lane, right up behind Nemo. Get the car slowed down nice and early. See, Mystic has this whole lap to push on fresher tyres, so I don't really stand a chance. I tried to get out ahead and obviously held up there by, I think that's B-Boy in the Williams, just driving down the pit lane. You see now, there he goes, Mystic and Grumpy past me.
Okay, stay clear of the white line.
A little bit annoying.
Receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross.
And now Jay Prentice behind. This was a really nice battle. It was very short-lived, but definitely very enjoyable to race against him. Got a couple battles now. He doesn't like running downforce, or he just doesn't run it. He goes to the outside at turn 4, so literally trying my best to hang on the inside to get a better run. However, I'm, turning up the engine. He holds it around the outside then at turn 6. I'm like, yeah, okay. He's going to just run me off the track there. That's probably pretty much nothing I could do. Look at the replay of that and again from the off-board. You see now how tight it gets between us coming through turn 6. You see that there wasn't contact, surprisingly. But he just about beat me out there. On to lap 9 of this race now. You see there, that is special off into the wall, coming down to the place we had a battle last lap.
Keep an eye on the delta.
And the safety car gets deployed. Jay Prentice then pulling it into the pit lane, and there's Ferrari. Still a reserve in this leg, I don't know why. Comes from every week and does fairly well. Now on the exit, I try my best to get past Matty here, but I brake very late, but just to avoid the glitch, I then have to properly lock up. Just let him go. So I was trying very hard then to keep that position. Now heading on to the safety car restarts onto lap 11 now, back to start lap 12. I absolutely get abandoned on the restart. The cars ahead have just pulled away, cars behind have dropped back. And then into the middle sector of that lap, and see a caught right back up to Matty. He was held up a little bit at turn 1. However, he's now right back in my clutches, available for a move hopefully.
+1. Faster engine modes are available.
Now down into the very tricky double left. See, slightly better run, little tap as well. Just to let him know I was there, just a little lift up on the back of the car. Then jump into the end of this lap, coming out of the final corner. He runs a little bit wide and I pretty much seized the opportunity. So he pulls away a little bit, so we turn the engine back up, back into slipstream. Follow to the inside, do squeeze him a little bit northerly here. But there's still a car's width there. All good there, up into P7 now. Started P10, so the race is going fairly well at the moment. Later on to that lap, now catching up to the bank of this 4-car train. You can see very close to the back of Brandon. I don't think I hit him there, but it was certainly very close. Going now down to turn 11, I had a little look to the inside. He didn't defend it, so I just sat back. Nothing I really could have done there. Brandon, of course, much faster, leading the championship for a reason. And he probably would have completely driven away with this one, given the opportunity. See there, a little bit wide at turn 1. Now coming up towards turn 4, which turns to turns 9 and 10 again, right up behind Brandon. Before Jeff does his best once again to make his life pointless. Suggests the same strategy that I've been on pretty much all race. Now onto lap 15, again right behind Brandon, coming through the second sector. He just about clips the curve there, loses the car completely. And I didn't know where his car was, so this really scared me. Going through turn 8, and luckily I see his car in the mirror.
VSC deployed.
But the VSC has been deployed, I believe, for the Red Bull. It's on the exit of turn 4 there. See there, from the off-board perspective then, coming through the chicane, he then, second pink car on your screen, loses it. It's a very nice drift. I actually saw his onboard after the race. Did very well to catch it and not ever hit a wall. But that was a position I did not think I'd be getting. Onto the restart then, Mystic I think tried to take advantage of the Delta then to overtake Delta. As he then pulls into the pit lane, Mystic got very close to the back of his car. Later onto that lap then, once again with Mystic, as soon as I've caught up to him, got DRS. He's caught up to the back of the car in front of him, now Jay Carty in the Mercedes, who I do believe goes on to win this race. We run up the hill there, you can see now the closest I've ever been to Mystic. Coming through the final corner, try and get on the power. He goes into pit lane and he sees I don't pit. Oh, I don't pit, that's right, English. And just then comes across the line to stay out, which I don't think you're allowed to do. It was a little bit annoying there, but it did stop him getting the undercut. As you can see, this is now my in lap. I am boxing at the end of this one.
The car behind is dropping back by
Pat we tie there, Kieran getting the fastest lap. I then leave it very late to dive into the pits just so he can't follow what I'm doing. Coming to the pit lane, now pulling toward the stop. Another very reliable stop then from the Renault boys. 2.6 seconds, which I pretty much think is what the Loys get as a pit time. I'm coming out of the pit lane now in P13, make that P14 as Delta just drives past. But that position lasts about 8 corners. Where we are now, just now coming down into turn 8 later on that lap. Delta runs a little bit wider at the corner. Go a little bit to the inside just to scare him a little. Get a better run on the exit here, just go to the outside. Out traction, out power, out everything. Past the racing point, that was pretty much crucial. As you see there, purple sector 2, purple sector 3.
Okay, gap ahead is 17.5 seconds.
And we jumped Mystic by quite some time as well. We try and get Nano. He was leading the race after his strategy calls from the safety car and all that stuff. And thus begins possibly the most fun time I've ever had. I think a couple of my most enjoyable moments did actually have come in this league. Just fighting back through the field after a late stop for softs. See, this was a very scary moment there, the ghosted Williams, which I of course didn't know was ghosted. Then onto the safety, the VSC restart. I get past Nano here on the exit of 13. I don't know if he was letting me pass strategically, so then he would get the DRS down here. Or if he just didn't react fast enough to the safety car. There he goes, back up then into P8 for him. I'll drop back down to P9. And now the fun begins. Heading up now onto lap 24, so a couple of laps later. Nano gets past the first, say, victim or target that we both ploughed past there, being Mad Scientist. Hasn't scored a point yet, despite out-qualifying me a couple of times in this league. He does get his first points today. You see there, move number 1 done complete, up into P8 now. Next on the list is JP Greenwood, as you can see Nano once again. A lap later, getting past into turn 1, I give him a little bit of a tap, which I don't think affected him at all really, and then he loses the back a little bit. Next step 2, he fought a little bit harder for the position. But much better grip on the softs compared to his very worn mediums who he pitted on at the safety car 15 laps ago. And now on to Matty, which Nano actually gets past here at turn 11. I don't get past until turn 4 on the next lap, as you'll see now.
There's 3 laps of fuel
so Nano was pulled away a little bit, which I thought, that's it now. So, you know, I'm not going to catch him at all. But then, behold my teammates. Now the drama starts to unfold with him. Lap 27, so just over 2 laps to go, 2.5 laps. Pretty much. I thought I wouldn't catch back up into Nano. My pro teammate then does a very job of what I may have thought would have been holding up, but as you'll see, he's a very hard fighter. Possibly was beaten a couple of times here, but kept fighting back. So yeah, I gave Nano a little bit of a tap into turn 10. Again, not intentional at all, but he does break his front wing there on the back of Grumpy. But this, you know, it's kind of, these last 3 laps are very enjoyable to drive. Very enjoyable, a lot. We're coming down to lap 28, Nano goes to the outside of Grumpy into turn 1. I had a very good view of this, I was just waiting for something to happen between them. Now the exit after turn 2 was decent. Again, that Grumpy attacking Nano back, goes actually around the outside, all the way around the outside at turn 4 before I lose it a little bit on power. Yeah, and go side by side. The Grumpy's forced a little bit wide, so I tried to get around the outside here at turn 8, pretty much braking at the same time, but I knew here he was just going to push me off the track. So back down to that one. And now I thought I would get Grumpy here. Of course, Nano's pulled away a little bit after that in the middle sector.
This is your final lap of the race.
You can hear from Jeff, final lap of the race, who knows if that is reliable or not. Grumpy and Nano once again somehow going at it, I have no idea how. Lose the back end a little bit through turn 2.
Behind is dropping back by about 3/10.
We're heading up the track, cut Jeff off, check penalties.
Their tyres are 18 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:31.7. You're gaining by 3/10 a lap. Good work.
No penalties for him, so I know if I want P5 I have to take a position on track. I don't think I had a warning in this race. I may have been given one somewhere. Just trying my absolute best to do something about this position. And now heading down to the final sector of the track. Just trying to get past Grumpy into turn 11, nothing going there, so we go back to the outside. But now get the run around the outside of turn 12, but he loses it on the curb, causing contact between us. I narrowly avoid the wall on the inside of the corner there, and then have to do pretty much everything I can battery and fuel to stay ahead of Matty and Mystic, who are both now right behind me. So he tries to go around the outside there at the final corner. Nothing going of it. And we somehow hold on to take P5. I have no idea how. Now you'll see the onboard though, so you'll see a little bit of a run on the exit of 11. And then through 12, you'll see if he completely mounts the curb there. I have nowhere to go, hits the back of him and just about keep it out of the wall. Before narrowly holding on to 5th over the line. To the two pursuing cars. So yeah, it's a very intense race, pretty much from start to finish. P6 in the end, my teammate got P8. And after the race, Nano was given a penalty, which I would have beaten him with. If not for that, actually, I might have, because the gap's only 2 seconds there. So I might actually have taken 4th, I never know. But that'll be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Please leave a like, subscribe as well, helps me out massively. Especially if you enjoy what you are watching. Then until the next one, I'll catch you then. See ya.